How's everyone doing? Good. Brought my piece of paper up here for y'all to share with me what you'd like me to talk about today.
Law of attraction in alignment with God.
Labels.
Okay.
Mount Shasta. Mount Shasta? Dancing in the shadow and the light.
Creativity.
One sec. Yep.
Reconciliation versus repetition.
Forgiveness.
Hold on.
Forgiveness.
Yep. There was one a little while ago, a female voice.
Oh, creativity.
Thank you. See? Got it. And?
Expressing your highest purpose.
Thank you. Okay, cool. Thank you. Oh, so beautiful. A wide variety of items. And for the folks online, I'll try to go back and look at the names and throw them out there so you can kind of feel what people are asking for, so that you know it's all part of the sacred service that we do. And it's amazing because, that we say this is a center for students and masters on the spiritual path, and I totally believe that. You can think of yourself as a student on the path. In the world, there's people that aren't even thinking that they're students on the path. They're still students on the path, but they don't know it. So we could say that they're sleeping, but they're still on the path. Then there's people that go, wow, I'm on the path now. And they might think they're masters, but you've been awake for a day. So, but that's still beautiful and it's great. And we're always students to some degree while we're on earth. Masters doesn't mean anything opulent. It doesn't mean anything grandiose. It doesn't mean anything egotistic. It just means, really, mastery mostly means I'm that committed to my path. I'm not sort of, like some days. Mastery, it doesn't just mean you wear now a different attire or people address you a certain way. It's more about your comfort with your level of dedication and commitment on the path. And it's very important to know that it's almost like it's going to sound like a contradiction or a paradox, but the mastery part isn't like the student is, I'm learning, this is great, I'm learning. Wow, you're adding to repertoire, you're adding, whether as a musician or a speaker or a student on the path, philosophy or whatever. Learning information, learning to own talents, poetry, etc., roomy type things. It's beautiful. But there's something that happens where as you're going up, and you're thinking, I'm getting where you go, wait, I don't want to do anything without God. You go from how you're developing and how much more you know. I learned a new technique. I've got this breathwork thing, going on. Oh, wait, I'm starting to raise Kundalini. All these really cool things. And when people come to me and say, what do I do about this, that, and the other? One of the main things is ask for the Divine Mother to guide you through. It's a strange thing because in this world of separation, everybody kept fragmenting, and pretty soon they had differing religions and philosophies. And then some of them said, well, clearly they all saying, ours is right and so on. But some of them went to the point of, you're so wrong, we need to burn you at the stake. That's how wrong you are. We need to kill you right away. But it's very ironic because if you interview the Divine Mother, she'll say, I was in the pagans and in the Catholics and in this and that. She's in all of it. She's the spirit behind it, but she's not in the behaviors unless the behaviors are inspired by her. They can only be inspired by her if we ask and get in the habit of asking for her to inspire our behaviors. But that doesn't mean you go, you know what, I'm feeling like we want to take over and have a holy war, and we'll just say that God's guiding us to do so. That's a convenient story, It's like the parent that spanks their kid. It's going to hurt me more than you. I doubt it. I totally doubt it. Call me silly. I mean, I'm 5 and you're 45, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't work that way. So learning to let the Divine Mother be in us, through us, guide us, And so if you really look at it, the pagans, let's pretend and exaggerate the term, that they're worshiping trees and planets and whatever. I'm just exaggerating the point. It's not that they're all literally worshiping, but let's say that's the case. They're worshiping this tree and this water and so on. The Native Americans are doing the same thing. But the religions come in and say, no, that's wrong. Why? Because you're worshiping false idols. What are you worshiping? I can see my gods. You can't see yours. You just tell me it's there. That's called superstition. You're a pagan, dude. Get out of here. You know. So it's really kind of twisted. But the beautiful thing is that those people that are trying to burn people at the stake, they don't realize they're misguided. And the people, if ever a person literally does worship a tree, and so they're misguided. It's really the mother beneath it all. It's the mother behind the tree, behind the water. It's all coming back to the word humility, really. The last shall be first, the first shall be last. Those who think they know this, my religion's right, and it's the only one that's right, you know, I'm sorry for you. Because underneath it, the mother, you were this close, and then you deviated. Give everyone a chance. Understand, these are your brothers and sisters. Seeing that God, the Father, Mother, God, they created these beings, and these are children of God. We might have a preference on how we want to celebrate the presence of God, worship the presence of God, or call on the presence of God. But recognize it's all okay. It's all beautiful. And human beings just have strayed so far into insecurity. The bottom line is that the evil of the world, the ego, tries to sabotage everything. Like in some sci-fi movie, somebody's got this voice that's messing with them. The voice of the ego is trying to mess with us and distract us from getting anywhere. If I get on the spiritual path, the ego is going to try to distract me from that. But if I'm insistent, it's going to go, fine. If you insist, then I'm going to join you on the path and mess you up on the path. Instead of trying to get you off the path, I'll join you and mess you up there. It just rides shotgun no matter what. It's just always there. And we listen to it, we make mistakes, we harm others, and then we justify it. We don't say sorry, my bad, we justify it. It's very important to come back to a sense of humility and realizing that it's, you know, don't hate the churches or any group, just realize the ego infiltrated, and it's very sad. Feel sorry for your brothers and sisters. Don't try to convert them, just pray for them. Any of them that are coming from fear, hate, competition, or whatever, just see through it. I myself have had times when I'm driving down the street on a weekend in the old days when I had weekends, and I might see a church. I would just go in and sit down. I didn't go, which church is it? Is it acceptable? Here's the bottom line. Am I going to get it? If I can get it in there, then I'm getting it. It's a test. If I go in and say these people don't have it, then you're doing like many others that you've been appalled by their behaviors. I go in and I'm listening, and it could be somebody doing their face, you know, shaking, and Jesus, and you're all going to sinners, and they're doing all this. And I just kind of smile and think, this is funny. You know, it's like if you look at it and you get all the Jesus and the guy's turning red, you could just tell he's hypertense, man, and you just think, wow. You know, and it's kind of a funny show. But on he goes about, you're going to hell, and relax. When you're the person going, I can't believe it. He said, I'm going, why are you so upset? You know why? Because you don't know the truth yet. When you know, you smile more because it doesn't trigger you. You become this, you know, Teflon, man. And the stuff just skates right off. So he's doing things like, and then Jesus and the prophet. And I took out a piece of paper, whatever was in the chairs in front, and I started making some lecture notes. You know, that's a really good, I'll put that in a book. How did I do that in some fundamentalist church, let's say, where it's talking about sin and because you just wear the universal translator. The Holy Spirit, she'll tell you what he really meant. He said, we're all going to hell and we're going to be eternally damned. How do you turn that into anything good? You can. Just shut up long enough to hear the mother instead of you. Get out of your reactions and just listen. Okay, mother, this is a good one. He just said eternally damned. She's like, I know, honey. It's okay. I know. How can you be damned eternally, first of all? What does that mean? Well, eternal, that's a measurement of time. It means time, but still in time, which could mean you could be dealing with karma. As long as time exists, you could be in the cycles of karma. That's eternal damnation. Oh, that's brilliant. Karma, eternal. And you make notes and you're going, this is cool. You're turning light, from this stuff into light. And if you can pull that off, you're already showing your level of mastery. Not because you're superior. I don't sit there and go, and I'm so much smarter than this person doing a lecture. I don't think and evaluate them at all. I'm just grateful that I can hear the mother's voice. So listen to her. Let her guide you. Let her help you bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Bridge between seemingly opposites and dualities out there. So this goes on. I mean, the corruptions in politicians and politics, corruption, this is the ego. You can't say all politicians, all religions are evil. They're just corrupted by the voice of the ego. If I react to them, then I'm getting corrupted by the ego. Because the ego doesn't care which side you're on as long as you hate somebody. As long as you fear, as long as you react, as long as you judge, the ego is totally fine. So it's this self-perpetuating energy system, this ego. And it has to fight to stay alive. Spirit doesn't. It has to fight to stay alive because it doesn't even exist. We have small versions of ego, let's say, that aren't overtly crazy, harmful, but just doubts and fears inside, shadow self. My little doubts and fears that kind of sabotage things, and I have insecurities, sort of bits of shadow self. Ultimately, you don't hate that. Don't inflate it, but don't hate it. Just look at it and say, wow, that's interesting. Just like bridging with the minister doing his talk, you say, that's interesting. No matter how popular I become or no matter how wealthy I become, I still have these insecurities. Isn't that interesting? Now, somebody might say, that's your shadow self. Let it be there. Okay, I could. I don't need to fight it, resist it. But I could also say, I'm going to go ahead and rise above my self-doubts. There's nothing wrong with that. And become a singer when you weren't at one point, and then you do it. You don't have to keep the shadow. Shadows disappear when you shine more light. First, you can accentuate the shadow with more light, right? The greater the light, the darker the shadow. Uh-oh. That's a drag because I want to grow spiritually, but I don't want more of the darkness. No. Here's the secret. The light gets brighter, the shadow gets darker, which is the Christian's way of saying, oh, if you get spiritual, the devil's going to come after you. Okay, whatever. Name it anything you want. Saturn, Satan, whatever, depending on what paganistic thing you're into. No, it's all fine. If you're a pagan and you love the trees, then it's a lumberjack that's Satan. There's always somebody out there doing something you don't like. And this is why we assign labels so that we can go, I know where I know you. One of you asked about labels, and that's great. It's always assigning labels so that we put everybody in a box so that we can seemingly feel safer. I'm not exactly safe, but at least I know what I'm dealing with. You're one of those, and you're one of those, and labels on everybody. So we have these things, and somebody to dislike and some issue with somebody or another. But at the end of the day, we ask for bridging, not separation. One way to do that is, how would you have me see this differently? How would you have me see this person, this incident, this issue? And so we learn to say the key is not just greater light, because the darker the shadow. Meaning in psychology, in some teachings, the ego will get louder. It'll get more obnoxious, more aggressive, in fact, because it doesn't want you to wake up. Well, it's an evil thing, this being called Satan. No. It's our own fears, of knowing who we are. We're more afraid of our light than our darkness. So we actually feed the darkness so that we don't have to become the light. It's really a strange thing that we do. Self-sabotage in its absolute greatest moment, highest moment, most aggressive moment. However, the key is not just greater light, nor is it to dim your light. It's you get out of the way and then you don't cast a shadow. Think about that. If my hand is casting a shadow on the wall from this light in front of me, if I get out of the way, there's no shadow. So whatever you believe about your shadow and whatever you believe about how to deal with it, the key, if you think about this very simply, is get out of the way. So if your shadow keeps you from succeeding, look at what that's about and then move it out of the way. Don't stand and don't let your limiting beliefs, don't let your judgments, competitive thoughts about somebody else who's more successful, don't let that get in the way. Don't hide it. Don't pretend it's not there. Also, don't pretend you love it. I learned to love my hate, my judgments. You can, listen, petting them doesn't make them your friend. I mean, they have an agenda, which is to destroy you. Well, who's trying to destroy? No, I'm so afraid of my holiness that I try to create every opportunity to be unholy. It may not seem like it. You can come to a sacred center, doing a Sunday service. There could be beautiful music that's just shaking everybody's soul, and it's just beautiful. And still, there's a chance and a part of us that wants to kind of look and go, well, they're singing off key, that person over there in the audience. And what made them think that dress looked okay? This is what we do. There's always something, and it has nothing to do with them. We're so afraid of becoming holy, we have to come up with something to mess it up. Be able to see that and go, isn't that funny? Kind of bizarre, kind of silly? I see it, and it's not my choice today. The power to choose again is very, very underrated and very important. It's choice. Everything is choice. We got to get back to understanding that. This Jesus is completely activated. He's completely Christed. And watch what we do. His right brain, his left brain are fusing together. One brain, one mind, everything's male, female, front, back. All this, the mind, his neurons, everything firing, and they're becoming holy neurons. The Kundalini is awake and arisen, and it's through his whole being. Every nerve is glowing with light. This person is like, wow, like just imagine the kind of vibes floating through. Not just a wise man, a good healer, a completely Christed, Krishna-minded being. All that Krishna told about in stories in the Gita, Jesus embodies it. All the stories about gods of Egypt, Osiris resurrecting, Jesus embodies it. All the Central, South, and North American stories of masters and great, Quetzalcoatl, Jesus is embodying it. Whether it's South America, whether it's, the Far East, whatever. All the greatest stories. And Jesus had to choose to embody them all. We can barely embody somebody that knows how to fix a light bulb, change a light bulb. Most of us have such low thoughts of ourselves, we just think that's it. Imagine trying to carry the archetype of all holiness from all cultures all at once in one body. That body's got to adapt, man. It's got to ready for some voltage, man. Here it comes. And you can't be dim and take on this great light, even in body sense. So he's totally activated. Here's how we responded. This guy's mind is totally one with the universe. That means it extends as far as the universe, his aura, and beyond. Well, what's beyond the universe? Can't get into that right now. But imagine this person's mind and think about how you would handle this. It's expanded all the way. You know what they did to say thank you? They took a crown of thorns and shoved it on his head as a symbol of no. Do you see what I'm saying there? Stuff it on his head. Say no. Do not let his light shine. This is what people will do to you as well. Maybe not a crown of thorns, but just oppressive thoughts. Not good enough or whatever. Who said? If I asked God, it seems to have some pretty good rave reviews. I asked Shiva, and Shiva gave me 6 thumbs up. So, the ego seems to have to spoil everything. As soon as you love something, somebody's got some negative to go with it. It's so strange, so sad, so tragic. But wait, don't take it too seriously. Look at it more as I feel for them. Because that's how sad it is, that someone has to tear something down. It's not always others that you're feeling compassion for that you're seeing being torn down. It's often you. And it can take the form, all kinds of different forms. But the idea of putting this crown of thorns, it's such a great visual of, here's this light, no. We're going to give you pain to distract you. Well, this is in your life. Pain to distract you. You have children, you raise them from such a loving, beautiful place, and they stray off into God knows what behaviors, and it hurts, like the crown of thorns. It hurts. But Jesus takes the crown of thorns, and what is he saying? What is his message? Is it, after all I've done for you people? The victim? Is it the narcissist? No. What does he do? Forgive them, they know not what they do. That's not usually the response you give to people that slander you and gossip and hate you and compete with you. That's the attitude we're supposed to have. Not because Jesus said so, but because it's who we really are. The Christ in us has the right to respond. And all of a sudden, everything changes when I hear the voice of my divine mother. Really, really soak this in. This isn't philosophy. There's a creator. And we've made it into philosophy and religion and all kinds of songs and poems about it. But wait. Breathe and just imagine this God, despite all my labels and all my thoughts, even beautiful, sublime ones about God, it is the presence of love. All of a sudden, there's this presence. The Father aspect of God is bliss. And when the children said, we're going to experiment with being separate from bliss, the mother aspect of God said, I got it, honey. To bliss, she said. She's love. She said, I got it, honey. You hang out here in heaven in bliss. I'm going to go with the children into separation. And I'm going to mirror to them the presence of God in every way possible. They can put things in front of my light as their mother. They can put things in front. They can never eliminate me. I'm their mother. So behind every one of these things, these people that are trying to frighten you and hurt you, behind them is the mother saying, honey, if you can look past what seems to be happening, you'll see me. When you see me, I promise you this, the pain you're feeling will ease because as soon as you have shown a commitment to see me behind the pain, I'm going to birth in you your Christ self. Not once, but I die daily, says one apostle. You'll rebirth, you'll crucify and be resurrected again and again and again and again. And when you really take that and you really embody that, the third step happens, called ascension. I don't mean ascension off into la-la land. I mean, I take my crucifixion, lessons learned, my ascension, my resurrection, which means, and I bounce back. Ascension means, and now I embody it. What you see is what you get. I embody it. Now I can go anywhere. Sacred sites, you asked about like Mount Shasta, for example. Another sacred site, just so like Sedona. And there are there's 7 major chakras on the planet. You assume they would be certain ones, like Sedona. Sedona is not a major chakra on the planet. I'm sorry, tourist brochures and all that, sorry. It's not, it is a unique chakra because it's the one with the most minor chakras packed into one place. But it is not the crown, that's in Giza. It's not the naval center in Glastonbury. It's not one of the 7 majors, but it's important. But there's more importance here beyond the power of Shasta, Sedona, Giza, where the Great Pyramid is. Beyond all that, and Peru is one of them. Beyond all that, we are told in the teachings of Christ consciousness, like A Course in Miracles, we are told there is no place holier on earth than where you stand and have chosen to forgive. Anything. Doesn't matter how many stones are stacked up. It doesn't matter how many generations of people going there and doing bizarre, cool rituals and celebration. The most important chakra on the planet is the one you're holding. Is it corrupted and toxic, or is it awakened and light? Take responsibility. What are you feeding to the planet? We are in a symbiotic relationship, but are you parasite to this planet? Your hatred, judgment. You can even think you're wonderful. I'm such a wonderful spiritual teacher, better than all those jerks. You lost me already. The love, the forgiveness, and we all slip, but can you own it? Can you bounce back? It's really fantastic. And Shasta isn't just a geological presence that becomes a chakra like the the natural organic geological power in Sedona. Shasta also reminds us of an ancient civilization known as the Lemurians. And what is Shasta today was once the east coast, what's the west coast of North America, like Shasta, for example, was once the east coast of Lemuria that was in the Pacific. And this is, I'm mentioning this not just for ancient civilization segue, it's because these were a people dedicated to love, dedicated to the mother, a very matriarchal civilization. It's so beautiful. But what happened? Everything on this planet, everything in the whole universe that exists, the ego tries to darken it. So even Lemuria was taken out, slowly submerging, but was taken out. The highlands of it being the Polynesian islands and so forth, but Hawaiian islands and so on. But what happened? What happened to the love? There's a great Yes song. What happened to this song we once knew so well? That it's called, the song called The Revealing Science of God. It could never just be I love you, baby. That's not Yes's way. They got, let's do a song. I don't know, The Revealing Science of God. Wow. Okay. So you don't just like put that on for light listening. It's like, it takes you somewhere. Starts with this Gregorian chant and then takes you into this deep, and then the chorus. What happened? He's asking all of us to this song we once knew so well. Did we forget? Did we forget this? Wow, and it's like really calling to our soul. And what happened, Lemuria? What happened? We became afraid, and the intensity, the world got the best of us. And it's not just Lemuria, man, it's my house. It's your spiritual center, your songs. You can record the finest songs. Somebody tries to steal them and make sure you don't get paid for them. These people that opened companies to rip off musicians, that's not God. I think in terms of the way my mind works, and I'm not claiming to be any perfect or special, I'm just telling you this is how my mind works. I think that if I were a professional sport, I would take off 1% of everybody's income, since they all get $100 million a year anyway. Take 1%, put it in a fund to help all the injured athletes that you forget about once they're injured. You just kick them to the curb. And all the music industries, 1% into a fund that helps go back to musicians that ended up ripped off and living in gutters. Just because they don't have your financial brilliance doesn't mean you should take advantage of them. Everything should support everything else. There's a way to live in that kind of ecosystem. But if there's no money and power in it, people don't have an interest in hearing these kinds of things. So it is true that a civilization gets created and they're peace-oriented, like the Mayans. Now somebody says, oh, didn't the Mayans do human sacrifice? No, they didn't. They sacrificed fruits from the field they would come in and put on the altar and give to God as a saying of thank you. They were peaceful. They were eventually taken over and enslaved by others that then promoted human sacrifice. Wow, humans, like you think that's ancient? That still happens. There are still people that are so disturbed, they love to take human life as a statement of their power. And it gets darker and darker, but forgive them, they know not what they do. Whatever they're doing, they will gain nothing. The more people do to be harmful, the more it shows they have no real sense of power. That's why they're fighting for it. That's why they're taking it from you. I'm sorry that people molested you or raped you or stole from you, taken from you in any way. I, as a person, I'm very, very sorry that ever happened. Not just to you, but for any being. It could have never happened if we would have remembered who we were. The solution is remembering who we are. If you look at Buddha's concepts of ignorance, and he takes you right down the row. It starts off of forgetting who you are, that's what he means by ignorance, and then having to look for it. If you find it, it's not going to last, you'll end up miserable. And if you don't find it, you're going to be miserable. So he's telling you, not knowing who you are, you go searching for it, codependency, addictions, and so on, trying to cope with not finding it, which is the birth of all your addictions now, of course. And then, even if you find it, it's temporary. The high wears off, so now you're miserable again. Even if you win the lottery, the money's gone, now you're miserable again. And in the end, there's really no solution, he's saying, that you know of. The earth cannot give you a solution. The only solution is go back to stage one, ignorance, and find out who you really are. And that's where you're filled with the presence. But if you try to say, I'm going to figure out who I am, who's the I that's talking? Because the ego's going, I'm all for it. Let's do that. Because it wants to mess you up again. Just say, no, I remember you. I'm pretty sure. I've been existing for about 1 billion years, and I remember your face. Let me check my Akashic records. Oh my God, you're on every page. No, thank you. I have no interest in your voice. Yeah, but just one drink would just help you. No, I'm not interested. Don't fight it, don't fear it. Just see through it. The voice that says, if only you had children. And, you failed your parents because they're really sad that you didn't have children. But, I'm there with you. I'll just sit in depression with you. And it wants to encourage you to focus on that. It's not saying, despite a barren womb, you are a holy child of God. Let's birth a book. Let's birth a poem. Let's birth a song. It has to focus on what it's telling. It tells you the problem first, then it tells you to obsess on the problem. This is a perfect ego system. It just perpetuates itself. Stop, choose again. Say, no, no thanks. I got it. One problem, ignorance, meaning I forgot who I was. I'm not going to try to figure out who I am on my own. I have a better idea. Mother. See, you call in the Divine Mother, she just comes, excuse me, ego, and it can't stop her. They're calling on the voice of reason. They're calling on the voice of sanity. They're calling on the voice of love. So if you don't mind, that wouldn't be you, right? You have any love credentials? I don't see any. No, nothing but fear. Get out of the way. She comes in and says, honey, I'm here. And I was there all along, just standing behind the ego that you kept giving praise to, the ego that you kept listening to. So we all can step up to a new level and say no. Look what happened to the beings that once lived in Lemuria and still remain in Shasta. It sounds far out to some people. But there's photographs spontaneously taken that shows temples in Shasta that aren't there when you move the camera and look at it. It's not there. But why did it show up on the film? Because on the etheric realm, there are these temples and these masters that still live in Shasta and elsewhere on this planet. They live in these places, the Shambhalas of history, of fables. They exist, but they're etheric. So what happened is those beings, instead of giving in and succumbing and being destroyed, they just shifted dimensions and said, you know what, it could be the Tuatha De Danann, of Ireland. What happened to them? They went into the earth and got away from the world that was so aggressive. First, I'm sad that anyone would have to flee this world for safety's sake. It's sad. This should be a container of love on the 3D level. And it will be. The ascension is a process, and it's already started. The first stage of the ascension, however, is the fading away of what isn't love, which means, and it's already happening if you look at it, politics, religion, all these things of the world, institutions, including the music industry and film, they're all dying. Where are the musicians? You have to find them as individuals, not as programmed groups that are sent out by some organization, stamped with approval, rehearsed by them in a room. It's going to be the individual singing from their heart. The spiritual teachers, I've said this for years, all those that said they were spiritual teachers, they become sometimes either gurus or just money hungry. They're spiritual teachers because they're best-selling authors. That didn't mean they actually integrated what they wrote about. So I've said for years, the students are going to become the teachers because they're actually more sincere than the ones that got up there and then got seduced by money and best-selling status. So everything's got to die first. So die well. Die as thoroughly as possible. It's still wise to play the game a little, know the truth, and respect the illusion. You still might want to put gas in your car instead of just trying to picture etheric molecules multiplying in your fuel tank. Just go ahead and pump the gas. It's okay. I hate giving into this illusion. Well, trust me, it's better. It's better. Otherwise, you're going to be dealing with the illusion of being on the side of a road and then, in the desert going, God, I should have got gas, I guess. It's okay. Cry when you need to cry. Pump gas. Deal with what seems to be happening without judging it. And then there are little bubbles that are popping and dispersing. My illusions, my fables, my mistaken beliefs, that they just pop, 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 and let them happen. The first stage of ascension is the fading away of what isn't, including the 3D world as we think we see it. So has already begun 20 years ago or so. It started really seeds decades ago, around 1960, but it started around 2000 or so and into 2012, that period. That's when it really starts kicking in. The old starts dying. And people are saying, well, nothing really happened with 2012. I think it did. Don't you look around you? Everything's dying. You can't listen to a single news program and ever hear something that's true. Everybody just sits and makes stuff up. And they're doing it in a form that's like, okay, what are they saying? Because let's make our whole program against what they say. Why don't you tell me what is instead of what isn't? What what's true, what's likable, lovable, rather than trying to just constantly push fear and hate. That's the world that's dying. And it is meant to die. And it's not easy. It's funny because for decades we've been saying, oh, Mani Padme, your will be done, Jesus. But then when it starts happening, we're like, can you bring me back some illusion? Like, look how it brings up things. When the economy crashes, you asked for it. No, I didn't. I don't ever remember saying, God, do me a favor and take away all my money. But you did when you said, your will be done. And God goes, there's no such thing as money. Let's get rid of it. You see what I'm saying? It's really strange, this adaptation. But first phase of the ascension that will last as much as 100 years, starting decades ago, that'll last about 100 years, is the dying of the old. And then then they overlap. The new starts coming in. The new is you and I, like the Shasta people, becoming ethereal. We're ascending from 3 fourth dimensional beings into 5th dimensional beings. This isn't like some sales pitch, some cool talk, lecture, or whatever. I'm just telling you, this is what's happening, and it's going to happen, continue to happen. And then people are thinking, I can't wait, I'm going to get 5th dimensional body. It's not an ID at Walmart. Hi, can I get my 5th dimensional identification, please? Oh, yeah. There you go. I feel so different. It doesn't work that way. If you're not loving, then you aren't 5th dimensional in consciousness. Well, then what are you going to do? I don't know. There's only one place judgmental people can live. It's in a world of limitation. But this world of limitation's already rising, because she's symbiotically with us, rising to another dimension. So there's no home for you if you want to stick with your hatreds. There's no place here anymore. It's not going to be here for you. Well, I want a place to hate. There's only one left, and that's Saturn, the planet that represents imprisonment. So you can go there and hang out in hell for a while, but everybody has a pain tolerance. So even if you go and purge away hatreds on Saturn, in a different dimension, of course, I don't mean in this body, you can go there, but at some point you're going to say, I'm tired of hating. I'm tired of judging. But instead of hearing the story about Saturn, start now. Just be done. If, for lack of a better phrase, be fed up with judging and limited thinking. I know you might go, well, of course, I'm not judging. Stop. You judge yourself when you're mad because you forgot to put gas in the car. You're mad at, scared. Even when you're scared, it's a judgment, believe it or not, because it means I'm doubting that everything's okay. Right? That's it. And if you're doubting, ultimately that's a lack of faith, not just in God, but in yourself. Well, I wish I could see God more often. Then show us. Become more like God. No, what I meant was, I was sleeping. I wanted God to just sprinkle fairy dust on me, and I'm enlightened in 5th dimensional. Well, I'm sorry, that's not going to be the way it's going to happen. You grow to heaven. You don't go to heaven. There's not a location that you look for on a map. You become the consciousness. Okay, how do we do that? Pranayama breathing, this and that and the other, special yoga posture. Those things are helpful. But if you decide to be a jerk, there's not a lot of yoga postures that will make, be the antithesis for being a jerk. I was a jerk, but all of a sudden, I'm in such and such a pose, and I can just wait. The jerk is fading. It's fading. Gone. It doesn't work that way. Stop being a jerk. Stop hating. Stop judging. Stop being so critical and perfectionist oriented. Well, but I'm an inner perfection. I'm a Virgo. It's always some story. Well, love the hell out of the Virgo self. You know, what is the Virgo? That's the virgin. Then you're already perfect. Why are you looking for perfectionism? Your name says it. You're the innocent virgin spirit. Yeah, but I've made mistakes. No, your human self did, and it's dying in the first stage of ascension. Now allow yourself to be born again. A born again virgin, a born again anything. Drink water and realize every time I drink water or nourishing fluids, I'm remembering that there was a part of me that once chose destructive fluids. Foods, the same thing. Friends, the same thing. Wow. I remember when it was important for me to have lots of dysfunctional people around me. And it doesn't attract me anymore. And when you look at it, sit and look at it and go, I actually kind of got something out of having dysfunctional people. Then I wasn't the most messed up person in the room, or whatever other reason you might have for dysfunctional people. Well, it made me feel good because they were like me, or whatever is the story. Get to know yourself. See what's behind these things. The beings in Shasta are there, and they've been there for a long, many tens and hundreds of thousands of years. They became ethereal. We're all going in that direction. And when we do, we're going to be like, oh, look, angels are arriving. They're going to be like, we've always been here. But you were so focused on hating your next door neighbor or your ex-partner, you know, who annoyed you, or what, you couldn't see us, because it's all a shift in consciousness. When you shift from dualistic eyes, you will shift into something else. Single eye that Jesus spoke of. Let thine eye be single. When you decide to let the divine be your eye, when you say, God, how would you have me see things? This opens, and these start to not shut per se, but they switch off. I don't use these as my receptors. I don't use these as my fact finders. I don't know. I think I see somebody that's mean. How would you have me see them? And all of a sudden, I know it sounds unfair because you'd like to just make them change. But when you say, let me see them through God's eyes, this eye starts to open, these eyes close. Metaphorically, it shifts, and all of a sudden your consciousness shifts, and you see a holy being of light. Well, when you do, their soul feels it. And their soul says, I like this. What's happening? Now, mind you, some of them are going to go, no, it must not be. And they panic. Somebody can come and listen to a talk here, and they leave, and it's happened. And they driving home just like, and then something, because the ego's got to go get it, put a crown of thorns on it, and go, wait, no, there was something about it I didn't like, and find something. The guy, he's got long hair. I mean, I've had people do that online. They, what's with the long hair? Who do you think you are, Jesus? No, he copied me, man. I had long hair before Jesus. No, I'm kidding. See, now that's going to get somebody writing letters. Oh, he's irreverent. And I'll say, like, no, Jesus gets it. Lighten up. You see, so imagine, guys, this is coming it's happening now. This ascension we're in. And we're moving now soon into the more ethereal. But how do we go to that ethereal place that we all love? I'm fifth dimension, it's so beautiful. How do we get there if we keep fighting the things that are fading away to make room for it? But you're right, it is scary. I mean, I get it. I don't just, I don't even watch the news, but if I did, I wouldn't turn around and go, oh, this is great that everything's falling apart. No, that's kind of denial. It is sad, it is scary. My heart goes out to even people that, we used to have things on planet Earth like graduations or marriages. And now, if I was a bride-to-be, I don't know if I can make it down the aisle without some thing going weird. Some new virus comes out. Anti-wedding virus is now all over the world, and it's striking, partners everywhere. Like, stuff keeps happening. Now you don't have this where you can just trust in something. And that's sad. But it also makes sense if you think about it. I don't trust anything in this world, but I trust the trustworthy parts of the world. Meaning, my goal is to not invest trust in the illusionary part of the world, but to trust in the light underneath it all. Because there is a divine plan. underneath your most wicked human being, God has a way of saying, when you're ready, I swear, I'll turn this for you. I'll turn this into something beautiful. No, I'm going to continue hating for 3 more lifetimes. And so it is. And waits, infinitely patient. But just ask, what can I do for this institution today? What can I do for this person today? And when you love them despite what they're doing, and I don't mean walk up and say, I love you despite what you're doing. I'm saying in your heart and soul, ask, pray to see things differently. Institutions, news flashes, whatever it is, ask to see it differently. Then you are actually activating ascension in that thing and bringing it to a higher dimensionality. And sometimes do it. I don't mean it all has to be Om. I don't mean it has to be like you're getting a ticket and you're like to the cop, Om. Sometimes it won't go over well. But at least keep a little lightness about it. Realize, sometimes lightness and levity is a way to help people loosen up. It's a drag that people are so poised to find fault with you, but it's also a drag that you either do it to yourself or others, or that you believe it when they do it to you. Be stronger. I wish they didn't pick on me, and be stronger. We can take responsibility and step up. Some of you know, when the COVID thing all happened, long story short, when I went in because I had COVID. I could feel something happening. And this was all like pretty intense. But when I went to the clinic or whatever they have, the emergency room or one of these places, and I haven't obviously visited them very often. I don't even know what they're called. So I go to this place and the guy says, you've got to go to the hospital. We're going to have an ambulance come and get you because it's, you have this thing happening. And it's like, I swear to God, some of you in the room were there and this is true. I swear to God, they said, we're going to send you to the hospital. I said, I'll go on one condition. I need the ambulance to drive through Jack in the Box and get me some curly fries. That's what I said. That's what I said. If I'm going to go in the hospital, whether I'm going to live or die in the hospital, I want curly fries. He refused. I said, then I'm not going to the hospital. Well, then you might die. Yeah, but I'll die happy because I'll go get me some curly fries today. So listen, keep it light. Don't be, oh my God, the hospital. Oh, well. Start humming your favorite song. So you're humming on your way out. You're ascending and you're singing a Beatles song or whatever. A day in the life. Just change the words to COVID. A day in the life of COVID. Find a way to help people not feel so afraid. Find a way to help people feel hope. And I say these things and people can go, wow, this is really meaningful. But there's always one in every 100 that's going, that hair, I can't get past that. I mean, we've had this happen. I can't get past it. It's funny to watch these humans. Somebody go, I would listen to this guy, I like him, but his hair. He looks like a guru, Or then some people start reacting, to him and cussing him. What's wrong with hair? You're only saying that because you're bald, And I'm just looking at these things going, we're not ascending, man. It ain't, there's no ascension. We need to start throwing, people into volcanoes again and start over. Because this isn't, the hair critic's got to go in the volcano, So, it's all about our consciousness. It's all about our consciousness. What are we really bringing, guys? God, bring love. I'm with you. It is hard to sit around and have people target you, hate you, compete with you, judge you. It is. And even watching them do it to each other. I'm a pretty sensitive soul. I mean, there are cartoons I cannot watch because of certain things that are done in them that just, it's too much sometimes, man. This world is so, not just intense and aggressive, which it is, it's the bullying, the hate. I won't watch the news, but I'm not saying I'm afraid of it all. I can sit, watch, process, and watch myself. That's fine. But it's still sad to see that people thrive on it so much. Feed off of this kinds of stuff. The hurt, the hate, the bullying, whether it's racism, sexism, it's all just kind of gross. And so as a human being, I admit and own, it can really hit me. So I have to find ways to cope, just like you. but I won't cope with drinking or drugs. Try to cope without addictions. You might have something. It could be chewing bubble gum. Could be your way of coping with anxiety. Don't judge your coping, but see if you can start shaving them away over time. If eating is your addiction to cope, shave it away and try to be without it for a moment. Because ultimately you're going to go to that place where there's nothing you need anymore. Without any reactions to anything, there's nothing to medicate. There's nothing to eliminate, nothing to help you avoid, nothing to stimulate, nothing to sedate. You just learn more and more. Am I comfortable right here within myself without needing to do any of that? Close your eyes, please, for a moment. All things reconciled, all things bridged back together. All things are part of the oneness of God. It doesn't mean hatred is God. It means underneath it, if I could just see it, behind a dead tree is light that can't die. But I can't see the light if I'm too focused on the dead tree. I can't see the light and soul inside of a person if I'm focused on their behaviors. Father, Mother, God, help me to see everything as it truly is. Help me to see everything through your eyes. And just let that be your affirmation into a song, into notes, into feelings, into words. This whole experience, be it through music or mind, it's my affirmation. Let me see everything through your eyes.
All that I am, I offer at the altar of love. All that I am, I offer at the altar of love. In sweet surrender, in sweet surrender. All that I am, I offer at the altar of love.
All that I am, I offer at the altar of love.
In sweet surrender,
In sweet surrender.
all that I am, I offer at the altar of love. All that I am, I offer at the altar of love. In sweet surrender,
In sweet surrender.
all I ask is to serve you. This is my humble prayer. All I ask is to serve you. This is my humble prayer now and forever. Now and forever. Now and forever. Now and forever. ask is to serve you. This is my humble prayer. Everybody. All I ask is to serve you. This is my humble prayer now and forever. All together. Now and forever. Now and forever. Now and forever.
One more time and say it from your soul.
All I ask is to serve you. This is my humble prayer. All I ask is to serve you. This is my humble prayer now and forever. Now and forever. Now and forever. Now and forever.
Breathe in a sense of gratitude for all that we covered today, for the presence of God, the Divine Mother, the Holy Spirit of God. We're here to serve that presence, connecting with God, letting it change us, and bringing that change to others. No good teacher points to themselves, but to God whom they serve. Parents should be the same way. All roles of leadership, if you're fortunate enough to be a political leader, a religious leader, whatever it happens to be, a household leader, this is your mini kingdom where you're asked to anchor the presence of God. And that's through humility, through love, through the commitment to make a difference in this world. And people might still try to put a crown of thorns over it, ruin it, judge it somehow. Just keep doing your best to be who you really are. When you slip, forgive yourself, and then resurrect and celebrate. Come back to singing and dancing and twirling and moving, feeling and painting, and letting gratitude come through you in whatever form it is. And so it is. And deep gratitude to Nicole and Ananda for being with us today. Beautiful. Thanks, guys. How are you all feeling? Nice, isn't it? Just like, yeah, every day ultimately will feel like this and even better someday in the near future. In the meantime, it feels wonderful, but then again, what's going to be there? What's going to be the thorn today? It's someone in a grocery line, somebody this, that, the other. Finances or what? Stop. Don't let it take you from this. Bring this into it. Bring this gratitude, this love, this light into the problems, not letting the problems crucify the feeling we're having together. A couple of quick announcements. We're going to do our collection. Can anyone share what you heard today or learned today that made the most difference for you? Yes, dear. The baskets and all that, please.
Find ways to dissipate the fear.
Find ways to dissipate the fear. Yes. Anyone else? Yes. See the truth behind the illusions. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, this is not a trick. This isn't hopeful thinking. We literally are asked, change frequency of our mind. Some people are into thinking it's about changing body frequencies. When you change your consciousness mainly through love, forgiveness, through surrender, sweet surrender, you change your frequency. That'll come to you. Change your consciousness. Anyone else? What is it? Bringing the Divine Mother into, man, just that softening. That Yogananda talks about it. White Eagle talks about it. There are some brilliant books by White Eagle. I mean, it was such brilliant channeling. And we received in the bookstore, there's a ton of various books of his. They're not easy to find because they're from Europe and the way shipping is these days, but there it is. We have them. Yogananda, White Eagle, some really great, teachers and teachings. But yeah, there's just, oh my God, there's just so much to give thanks for. And these teachers who took the time to say, not just typical teachings, but to say, if you, like Yogananda and White Eagle both had said, if you think, it's a funny thing, if you think of God as a father, male, you already get a little intimidated because of our programmings around males. So think of God as a mother. Especially with Eastern tradition, there's this concept of, even when mother's not the kindest, underneath her, she's still the voice of the mother. So try to look beyond what she's saying, even if she's seeming cruel. Look beyond. In other words, trusting in the mother. And the mother is in all of us, male or female. We're all these souls that can hear the mother calling us home, respond and step into it. It's so much easier than the former religious tactics that we tried out at one time. Yes, dear? You grow to heaven, not go to heaven. That's actually a quote from Edgar Cayce. All right, let's please do our love offering and our closing prayer. Oh, gratitude. Not just the obvious. Everyone in the room and online is creating a collective frequency that determined what we covered today. We all co-create everything. So we're just affirming the truth that we co-created what we heard today. Whatever you liked, good job in your participation in co-creating it. Anything you didn't like, you might want to look at that because it still came from your co-creation. Father, Mother, God, we give our greatest, deepest thanks for everything we experienced today. Together, please, divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and so it is. Yes. Please stand for our closing prayer. Do any of you still hear the songs that we heard today? Isn't that funny? Sweet surrender. And I'm like, oh, nice. Oh. Breathe into the appreciation. Every person of creative arts, paint, song, whatever, God bless you for your lifetimes of stepping into that. The training that seems like it might have lasted hours or days on earth. In this lifetime, no. This is something that's been with you for a long time, and we appreciate that. Whatever anybody here has spent time mastering, motherhood, poetry, music, God bless you for it, because you were following the guidance of God, the guidance of the Divine Mother to do something that expresses joy, that expresses love. Bless you for your voice, Nicole. Bless you, Ananda, for creating that container. What a beautiful thing to create a container and invite Nicole up to join him. We all need to leave this building today, leave our houses today, and do the same thing. How can I create a container for someone to feel safe enough to cry and be held? How can I create a container beautiful enough where somebody might be gifted a few dollars from me? How can I create a container where someone feels safe enough to share their heart, their soul, their deepest wounds, and their deepest joys? Help me to make a difference today in my walk in the light of God. The light of God surrounds us The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we go, God is, I am, we are, and so it is. Peace be with you all. God bless.